My name's Noah Richardson, and this is questions from the Red Couch. Let's get started, shall we? Ooh, what's something you learned in pre-med that everyone should know? Well, fun fact, I pretty much dropped out of pre-med, so I didn't learn shit. I have an idea of what you want to do before you go like a couple $1,000s in debt to do a thing. I don't know, but you can't knock until you try it, really. So, what was it like growing up in a funeral home? For me, honestly, it was normal for me until I went into other people's houses and saw that they didn't have any dead people there. Then I started realizing, oh, my house is different. It was like cool, especially in Philly. It was cool. Like during like the Super Bowl run that we had and stuff like that. Like we'll have people like tailgating in our parking lot. Like no black suits, like full Eagles attire, like Philly sports attire, and like Eagles chants and like stuff like that during funerals. I've seen a lot of things. That's just the tip of the iceberg with all that. What inspired you to write songs? So originally, I like low-key wrote poetry like in my notes app. My notes app is a war zone, and I was like, well, I really like to sing, so why don't I just like combine the two things? But then I got into like some of my favorite, like John Mayer was like what really got me into songwriting, and like Jack Johnson, bunch of other people I could probably say, honestly. If you had to write a song about a different fruit, how would it go? Well, considering Tangerine did really well, I would probably just replace the lyric for the different fruit, just make it the same song, just so that does just equally as well. There's a lot of songs about fruit. Harry Styles has a lot of songs about fruit. I don't know if I'm trying to compete with him for that, so. Who's an artist that inspires you? There's so many different artists that inspire me. Off the top of my head, my favorite is probably Dominic Fike is probably my favorite. John Mayer was huge for me when I first started writing music. But there's so many different people for different things. Like Maggie Rogers is a huge influence on me. Everything she does, like I love. Brandi Carlile is like my favorite vocalist of all time. Every time I try to sing, I think about just her and like her voice, stuff like that. If you weren't an artist, what would you do for a living? That's an excellent question. I would probably be a funeral director. Yeah, because my family, we had a funeral business. It's probably what I would have done, but I was low-key wanting to be like a screenwriter. I was like really, really into like film and all that stuff and writing stories before I decided to like make it like singer-songwriting. So I think being like a screenwriter or like creator of like TV shows and movies and stuff like that is like what I would kind of want to get into. What's one piece of advice you'd give your younger self? I gotta think about that one. I'm weird with advice in general because it's like some pieces of advice would work for other people and like not work for other people. I've tried so many different types of advice and self-help stuff where it doesn't work out for me. But I think it's hard to give it to my younger self because the more I look back, the more I realize like all the mistakes and like hard shit that I went through like actually did make me stronger and like did like make me learn from stuff. So like not like I want to see my younger self suffer through things. Probably I would just tell them like, you're good. Like, you know what I mean? It's all gonna be good. That sounds cliche, but it's true. Yeah, you're gonna survive. That's the end of our questions from The Red Couch. I'm your host, Noah Richardson. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I appreciate you.